What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for another edition of the weekly sports card market update. We take a quick whip around the happenings in the sports card world, look at some charts and graphs, go over some prices on a couple cards moving throughout the week, and just generally catch up about all the comings and goings. As always, busy week in the hobby this week. We had Panini nonsense and WWE nonsense and duplicate one-of-ones. The Philly show was this past weekend, which if you attended the Philly show, feel free, fire away in the comments, vibes, traffic, pricing, how were things. I enjoyed that show when I went to it last year or earlier this year. I forget when, actually might have been earlier this year. But I had a good time at that show. I'd like to go again at some point in time. It's just not going to work, or just didn't work out being this close to New York City Comic-Con coming up in a couple weeks. My focus is on that in regards to larger shows. But if you were there, feel free to drop it down below. I saw that Ruben was there roaming around. This weekend, I'm actually recording before it happened. The Victor Wembanyama green first Bowman signing raffle giveaway thing is going on today. The Topps event, or yesterday, happening Saturday afternoon. I am recording prior to Deion Sanders has not yet finished his game against Oregon. And I'm recording prior to Ohio State Notre Dame, getting this out of the way so I could settle in and watch that later this evening. So busy week in the sports world and the card world combined. Before we fully dive in this week, today's video, as all the weekly sports card market updates are for the foreseeable future, is sponsored by our friends over at ComC. You may have missed that I put a video out on Friday regarding a recent ComC shipment that just went off. They have a special running right now through the end of October. 30% off all TCG Select and Elite submissions. And this does stack with fresh pulls. That means you could get Lorcana and Pokemon 151, the newest new releases in the TCG space, loaded up on the site for 35 cents a card. And by sending it in Select, they go up in about 2 weeks once the package has been checked in. So absolutely fantastic promotion they have going on. I took advantage of that with some leftover Lorcana singles that I had laying around for my box opening. Those got shipped off. They should get delivered to ComC in a couple days here. So hopefully those will be opened up and loaded into my account in the next few weeks. And I can get those things priced and moved and continue to build that bankroll for upcoming singles purchases. I'm building up the war chest on ComC for when Marvel Masterpieces hits EPAC, to potentially make a big move on maybe some bigger Spider-Gwen cards. That is the plan for me in the short term. If something else pops up on there, I've grabbed some other things. In fact, I am way behind on a mail day video that I need to do for some odds and ends of things. So that should be coming up like a month and a half's worth of stuff. Nothing crazy, but that needs to get recorded at some point in time. But yeah, take advantage of the 30% off TCG submissions. That is a hell of a good deal. Probably the biggest story of the week that did not involve Panini was this one going around on the Fanatics circle. This actually happened much earlier in the week. I just never had a chance to get to it. Dueling one-of-ones. Superfractor from the newly released 2023 Bowman Chrome. Of a relatively no-name Indians prospect. But these got pulled, I think, on the same day from two different breakers. 101 Superfractors. Not a great look. I saw Dan the Cardman and I saw Jeff Wilson both cover this in their videos. And I think in Jeff's video, he said they had reached out to Topps, but had yet to hear anything back from them regarding this issue. So we haven't seen this with anything else yet, to the best of my knowledge, in regarding to Superfractors. Now, there's been nonsense going on with Topps and Panini both when it comes to stuff like this. More so Panini with the patch cards and all the sorts of nonsense going on over there. But this is the first time I've seen duplicate Superfractors coming out of a Topps product. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I don't think that I am. I could have missed something. No others have surfaced yet, but not all the one-of-ones have been pulled yet. You know, it's sometimes we go years, if ever, and never see the Superfractor surface for a particular player. So it wouldn't be completely out of left field that one of these got pulled for a different player and then there's another one floating around out there. The question is why were two even produced in the first place? Do they make an extra 101 Superfractor of every single card? Because this guy is not a key player by any means. Was it just a printing error where this guy accidentally showed up twice on the sheet and maybe someone didn't get a 101? Who knows? You could go 100 different ways on this. Regardless, it's a bad look for Topps quality control on this one. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Topps did say they were investigating it. They did reply to one of the retweets on this and said basically, hey, we are looking into this, but it's been silent since. Now, to be fair to them, maybe they want to get all their ducks in a row before they say anything. I guess that's fair. Having worked in a customer service oriented field, account management field where issues get brought to you, you do want to fully research them and understand everything from point A to point B before you go back to a customer and kind of lay out what happened. You don't want to give it to them in pieces and parts because sometimes you find things later on that you're like, oh, wait, this drastically changes how this all went down. So I'll give them a little bit of slack there, but it would have been nice if they had a more formal statement than like a random response on a retweet, like actually come out and make an IG post or something that says, hey, these two cards were pulled in question. We are aware. We are looking at it. We will give you an updated statement once we finish our investigation or whatever the case might be. So just some better communication overall out of these companies would go a long way. Communication is the biggest thing. I'm going to go on a side tangent here now. Is by far and away the one thing all companies, this isn't just hobby companies, but hobby companies specifically, they have got to figure it out. It is not hard to just communicate with your customer base. We beat these companies up all the time, and they could avoid it all if they just simply put out a statement. Let's go back. We could go down a laundry list of stuff, but a couple that stick out in my mind. And this is one that I harped on Peter from SGC about, that we discussed when I interviewed him the first time. And he was 100%. He was like, yeah, we were 100% wrong. Back in the early days of the pandemic, when they said, send us all your cards, and they immediately got backed up and they had a full-blown disaster with the number of cards that they got in and immediately fell way behind, they never said anything. They never gave a formal statement, said, hey guys, you know what? We screwed up. Here's what's going on. They left everybody in the dark. Beckett literally did that the entire pandemic. They just basically said nothing. Where some communication, even if it's boilerplate, fill in the blank PR statement, is better than what we got out of them. And even still to this day, they still haven't figured it out. They never gave a formal update on whatever the hell's going on with the grading scale change. I can't think of anything specific, but PSA does a bunch of dumb stuff. Topps does this. Come out and just say, hey, we're looking into this. We'll let you know when we find something. And then when you find something, actually give us the reason. Just little simple communication updates could go a long way. Long way for all these companies. And like I said, this goes beyond sports cards. But if any hobby company is out there, happens to be listening to this, be aggressive and in front of communication. Don't be reactionary. Don't wait for the call to arms. Be out in front of it and be ahead of it. If something dumb happens, at least put a statement out that says, hey, official statement. Hey, we are looking at X, Y, or Z thing, or we are aware this thing went sideways. We're going to look at it. Simple as that. That dumb, simple little statement goes a long way in building trust with your customer bases. And it's not that hard. But for whatever reason, these companies cannot seem to figure that out. Next up, no crazy new developments in this. This obviously happened middle of the week. Panini is now at war with WWE. WWE basically said we're terminating the contract immediately. Temporary restraining orders, this, that, the other thing, filings. Paul Lesko going crazy on Twitter was pretty much the last 72 hours. It sounds like we are going to get at least some form of next update on this on Monday. There seems to be a hearing for the temporary restraining order, and we will see if Panini has to immediately stop selling all WWE product if that is granted. Seems unlikely, but we'll have to wait and find out. Courts can obviously do crazy things, and then this will move on to the next step. And I believe the way I understand it would be they would then actually go to court, but in the meantime, Panini can continue to sell product because WWF wants them to stop immediately, full stop, and give us like $6 million or something crazy. I don't remember all the exact details, but go follow Paul Lesko. He was basically live tweeting as court documents dropped in this, and there's always interesting little nuggets and tidbits in there. This is the next product coming out, Elite. I don't know the exact release date on that yet. I don't think they've actually announced one. And I know, we like to crap on Panini a lot around here, but I've talked to some people that like collecting wrestling cards, and the general consensus is Panini actually does a pretty decent job with wrestling. Like the releases are usually pretty good. They like the product. I've heard a lot of positive things about Select, which just came out. I know I've liked a lot of their on-card autos that they've done in recent years. So we'll see what happens. I'm not as familiar with Topps released products or Fanatics released products now, but we'll see where this goes. But it seems like WWE for the most part, and Panini rather, was doing a pretty good job with WWE products. So we'll see what happens from here. Speaking of Panini and their ongoing lawsuits, no updates yet, but just wanted to throw this out there as Mosaic Football dropped this week. They're going for around $400 a box. They're actually still on Panini's website for $400 a box. The only reason this is notable, and once again, this could go a lot of different directions, so tread carefully here, folks, if you're getting any crazy ideas. This is the upcoming football release schedule for Panini. This is everything that they have on release up until, I think, early December. The last product is Donruss. Out of all these, assuming they get nothing else out the door beyond what's listed on here, Mosaic is kind of the headliner product. So there's a chance, and once again, I am not making any moves on this. There is a chance that Mosaic football release could be the best 2023 football release out there for a while. Assuming we don't get Topps Chrome or something doesn't happen that they can't continue to produce cards, there's at least a chance that that is the best product that we get. Because I would put Mosaic above pretty much all these other ones. Plates and patches, Origins, Gold Standard. Base Donruss is fine, but I would rather have Mosaic than base paper Donruss if it was me. Keep in mind, not a lot of autographs in this product for the top quarterbacks, so bear that in mind if you're chasing it. And also keep in mind, this could still go a lot of different directions. You need a lot of things to go your way for this to be the best football product release. That means that the Panini Fanatics war drags on, and Panini can't release any more product, and you don't end up getting some sort of Topps Chrome football if this thing goes sideways in a different direction. There's just a lot of different ways this could go, and most of them lean towards probably a short-term bubble for Mosaic, and maybe for that bubble to potentially be popped any single day. So tread carefully. With that, let's move into some charts and graphs. Market movers, link in the description down below. If you want to try out charts and graphs for yourself, you can get the first 2 weeks free and then 20% off whatever plan you sign up with. First up, quick little peek at 2022 rookies. Remember how everyone was hyping up Ritter and Howell and Purdy and Pickett, and they're all going to the moon, and you get on Facebook and it's like, buy this now because after the game it's going to be 5x. Today's price is not yesterday's price type of nonsense. Well, the 2022 class, outside of Purdy, who actually has done really, really well, strong start to the season for the Brockster. Everybody else, Purdy Silver Prism PSA 10 is up 107% over the last 60 days. Pickett, we'll circle back on this one in a second because this is kind of a fascinating thing to talk about. I had to use his raw here, and we'll talk about why in a minute. His raw silver is down 40%. He looked god-awful against the Browns. I don't even want to talk about the Browns. I don't even want to talk about Nick Chubb. I don't want to talk about Deshaun Watson. It's all bad. It all sucks. I hate being a Browns fan sometimes. Sam Howell, flat, basically, down about 7%. Actually playing pretty okay this year. And Desmond Ridder, down about 35%. The Falcons have played okay, but it's mostly been the running attack. Ridder has not been lighting things up. He did play a little bit better in week 2 than week 1, so we'll see where things go from here. Let's circle back to the Pickett. This came up, I think, in a live stream, maybe on Off-Centered last week. I'd be curious to know, because I've not ripped any 2022 Prism. I have not had this card in hand. I know that there is an issue with it, but I'm curious, what is the issue? Is it a centering issue? Is there like a surface thing? Because if you're not aware, this card has a wild grading population report. You can see the Brock Purdy, there's 280 in a PSA 10. The Sam Howell, there's 131 in a PSA 10. And the Desmond Ridder, there's 166 in the PSA 10. The Kenny Pickett, there are 0, I say again, 0 PSA 10s. If you look at, and I'm using the, I've had backdoor access to this for a while. This is the Universal Pop Report that GemRate is working on. It is very much in a beta phase. But I looked up this card on GemRate's Universal Pop Report. This is once again Kenny Pickett Silver Prism out of 2022. There are 190 total graded. The GemRate across all grading companies is 0.5%. Yikes. If you come down here and look, it is absolutely wild. Here is the PSA grade distribution. 0 10s, 50 9s, and 104 8s. Ouch. Absolutely ouch. And then some 7s. Come down here to SGC. We have some, Beckett. We have some 9s, some 8, or an 8.5 and an 8. And then SGC is the only one that has a 10. There is one SGC 10, one SGC 9.5, a bunch of 4s, and a whole bunch of 9s. And I shouldn't say a bunch, 4 and 9. 4 9s and 9 8s. I'm sorry, 8 5s, and then 2 8s. What the hell is going on with this card? Was the centering that bad? Is it surface issues? Is it one consistent thing, or is it just all over the place? Like, did someone just literally take an X-Acto? Was there a Browns fan in there when they were coming off the line with like an X-Acto knife just going down the middle of every card, or what? I don't know. Just curious. Like I said, I haven't followed this one super close. I knew that there was something with it and that the pop reports were wonky on it. I just didn't realize how crazy that they were. So if someone has any insight on that Pickett card, feel free to let me know. And congrats to you, whoever has the SGC 10 pop one of literally everything. It's an eBay 101 right there, folks. Speaking of football, bad week for Justin Fields, man. Wow. Some crazy comments out of him. Played terribly. Just all in all, not a great week for one Justin Fields. His card prices also reflect it. Silver Prism PSA 10, and this is going back, I should note this, back 60 days. So basically right to the National. So at peak off-season pricing. Justin Fields PSA 10 silver from that point down 42%. Optic Hollow basically flat. Select silver field level down 15%. Base Prism down 43%. Base Optic down 40%. And just kind of look at something a little bit more rare. His 2021 Optic Downtown in a PSA 10 is down 25%. So field stuff just getting absolutely hammered. It just looks like he can't throw the ball. We'll see what he looks like later today, as he said he is getting back to the way that he wants to play football and all that talk. So I guess that's just him running around like a nut, which is great for fantasy. I don't know if it's good for the Bears and his card prices. So Fields not looking too hot. However, my friend of the channel, my boy, Baker Mayfield. That's right. Baker, the touchdown maker, back in our lives. Card prices aren't going to the moon or anything crazy, but he's actually played pretty well so far for Tampa. And as a Browns fan, I wouldn't mind having him back over one Mr. Deshaun Watson, to tell you the truth. I hated that trade when it happened, and I still hate it to this day. Baker, PSA 10, just base Prism, up 48% since the summer. And his select field level silver up 191% since the summer. Now, these were pretty cheap over the summer. The select silver got all the way down to $45. The base Prism was all the way down to $30. I did look at his optic hollow. It actually has not moved much, which I'm surprised by. And you can't really go off silvers with 2018 quarterbacks just the way that it is. So Baker Mayfield to the moon, Justin Fields to the dumpsters. Let's switch gears. Baseball. A few different things to chat about here. Junior Camanero, Tampa Bay Rays top prospect, got called up late last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday. I don't remember when I saw the tweet for that. Have not seen what he has done yet because I think his first game is actually today and it has not happened as of time of recording. Very high prospect out of 2023, Bowman. We'll see what he does. He was one of the bigger chases from that product. His card prices, this is over the last 60 days. They have not spiked. Maybe we'll see that if he comes out hot this week. But they have been slowly going up. They started kind of high as they usually do when product releases, because this product's only been out for 9 months, maybe not even that long. They cooled off a little bit in the middle, but over the last 60 days or so, it has been picking up steam, and he's been playing pretty well as well in the minors. This is his first Bowman prospect. Auto, raw, PSA 10, and PSA 9. You can see there, the raw is up 60%, PSA 10 is up 30%, and the PSA 9 is up 27%. Now, the raws have the most recent sales. The 9s and 10s have not sold since he got called up because that just happened. So I wouldn't be surprised if this got another little bit of a spike up in prices once those kind of get some traction to them. But he is one that just got called up. The next hottest thing in all the land. We will see what he can do heading into the late parts of the baseball season. Just someone I wanted to point out as just kind of, having a really fantastic season, and his card prices are reflecting it, but also kind of flew under the radar. No one ever talks about this guy, Matt Olson, having a monster season. I think he just hit 50 home runs earlier this week. He's really bad. I have him on a couple best ball teams. He's been absolutely fantastic. PSA 10, first Bowman Chrome autos. Before the season started back in late March, this was going for $163 in a PSA 10, all the way up to $535 now as we look to close out the season, up 229%. There's some really crazy baseball seasons going on this year. We talked about J-Rod last week. He just hit 30-30. Acuna hit 40-40. Bobby Witt ended up having a really strong year. Matt Olson had a monster year. Ohtani was on pace to do crazy things for a while there. Mookie Betts had a hell of a season. Most of this has all been going on in the NL. But a lot of really nice big seasons out there for some players. And Matt Olson's just one that we've never really talked about before, so I wanted to give him a little love because that is a really nice increase on his first Bowman auto for someone that, once again, in the content space, you don't ever really hear talked about that often. His cards isn't going to get a bunch of clicks and views for a monster flip at a Dallas show or something like that. But very, very nice return on him. Very low pop in a PSA. Anyway, I assume there's probably a lot of, let's just look at his Beckett 9.5 real quick. 40 have transacted. They don't show the population count on here, but that card is up 55%. Nice discount there. Good old BGS 9.5 still lagging behind. $210 for his 9.5 compared to the PSA 10 at $535. So, gotta love it. Last but not least, one Mr. Shohei Ohtani. PSA 10 2018 Bowman rookie auto pitching. One of these just recently sold. First one we've seen sell in a while. A $5,000 drop on this card, or 35%. Back in the summer, late August, this card was going for, actually just like 3 weeks ago, this card was going for $15K was the last sale, and then another one sold this week, went for $10K, a 35% drop. That is a steep haircut, but like I said, that's basically what we've been seeing across Ohtani, is about 40 to 50% dips. And I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to go down. I think, what was it, this week, the agent came out and said that he plans to be ready to hit to start the season and probably won't pitch until 2025 is how it sounds like it's going to play out. And we will see where he signs. From a content perspective, that is all I have for you. We will talk about, I'll give you guys a quick update on the Content Creator Fantasy Football League. But for anyone that does not care about that, you can go ahead and peace out here. I will catch you boys and girls on the next one. If you care about us egotistical bastards that are doing the Content Creator Fantasy Football League, I will give you a quick update on that. Let's just pull it up over here. I moved to 2-0 after I beat the crap out of Jeff Wilson last week. That's right. We ended up slaying one Mr. Wilson. So I have knocked out Ziggy. I've knocked out Mr. Jeff Wilson. And then this week I am playing none other than the sports card dad himself. And playing is almost too strong of a term. It almost feels like a bye week. Dustin's team is straight up not good. He's been racked by injuries. If he got drafted by Dustin, it is worse than the Madden cover curse. I am up 26-0 already, just based off Deebo Samuel, who had a really good game on Thursday night. I have a 64% chance to win. We will see what happens. I am favored to win by 35 points. He has Stafford, Raheem Mostert, Tony Jones Jr., DK Metcalf, Michael Thomas is in a starting lineup for a fantasy football team. Cole Kmet, Dallas Goedert. That's right. He's starting 2 tight ends against me. Ravens defense and one Mr. Young Ho Koo is his starting lineup. Rough times in the streets for the dad. I have Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, Gus Edwards, Debo, who already played, one Mr. Puka Nacua, David Njoku, Amon St. Brown, Browns defense, and Justin Tucker. I am feeling a little cocky this week. Hopefully it doesn't come back and bite me in the butt later today. But I am looking to move to 3-0 in this league, and then we will see. I don't even know who I play next week. I haven't looked ahead yet. I basically just been on vacation mode in the football league this week with this matchup. So that is all I have for you, boys and girls. We will officially catch you on the next one. Peace.